So in the last video we learned about Sieve of Eratosthenes, and in this video let's do some problems based on Sieve of Eratosthenes. And for those of you who haven't watched that video, that is on Sieve of Eratosthenes, I would request you to please go and watch that video, because if you haven't watched that video then you won't be able to understand what we would discuss here. So the question that could be asked you, or the problem that could be asked you on Sieve of Eratosthenes could be something like this, like express each of the following numbers as the sum of three odd primes: 31, 53 and 61. Each of these number has to be represented in the form of sum of three odd primes. That is, you have to choose three numbers and those three numbers should be odd and they should be prime. So for such question, you straight jump and first form a sieve of Eratosthenes. So like in this case, the greatest number is 61. So you just make a sieve of Eratosthenes, like you write from 1 to 61 and then perform that method like we saw in the previous video, like we did for 1 to 100. We perform the method of sieve of Eratosthenes. So in this question, like here you have only up to 61, so just write up to 61 and start performing that method. Here the first number is 31, and the number 31 is where? It's here. And just focus only between 1 to 31, and you know that 1 is not a prime number. You have to write 31 in the form of sum of three odd primes. That is, they should be odd numbers and they should be prime numbers, and their addition of those three numbers should be equal to 31. In any such case, if in this case it's 31, so what's the previous prime number to 31? So the previous prime number to 31 is 29. Okay, so if I write 29, this is an odd number. Yeah, this is an odd number. So to make 31, if I add 2 to 29, then it would be 31, and 2 is a prime number. But hey, I have been asked to use three numbers, and here we could only use two numbers. Bad luck. We cannot use these two combinations. Now let's move to next combination. So what is the previous prime number to 29? So we have the previous prime number to 29 is 23. Okay, to make 23, if we add 8 to 23, then it would become 31. Okay, but to make 8, if we write it 5 plus 3, hey, that's great, because 5 is a prime number and that is odd, 3 is an odd prime number, and if we add it here 5 plus 3, these 5 plus 3 is equal to 8, right? We saw it here. And 23 is odd number, odd prime, 5 is odd prime, 3 is odd prime, and if we add these three numbers, it's equal to 31, and that's the answer. So the three odd prime numbers would be 23, 5 and 3. So if you add these three numbers, you'll get the desired result. Now let's move to the next number, and the next number is 53. The next number is 53. Where is my 53? 53 is here. Okay, what's the previous prime odd prime number to 53? Okay, so the previous odd prime number to 53 is 47. Okay, if I write it 47, and to make 53, I have to add 6 to 47. So if I add 6 to 47, then it would be 53. But 6 is not a odd prime number, and it's also only one number. So is there any other way that we can write this 6 in the form of combination of two odd prime numbers? No, there's no other way, right? So you just ignore it. and ignore it. Okay, then what's the previous odd prime number to 47? That is 43. So you write it 43 here. Okay, if I add 10 to 43, then my number would be equal to 53. Very good. But 10 is not an odd number, and also it's not a prime number. But if I write 10 as 7 plus 3, right? If we write 10 as 7 plus 3, then hey, that's great. 7 is a odd number or prime number. 3 is an odd prime number. 43 is an odd prime number, and hence it satisfies the condition. So 43 plus 7 plus 3, and it would be equal to 53. So what's the trick is, you just go on the previous odd prime number and check, is there any way that we can form those combinations? So in this case it was, I chose 43. Okay, let it be 43, and if I add 10 to 43, it would become 53, and I can write 10 as 7 plus 3, because 10 is not an odd prime number, and more than that, it's only one number, and we need 3 numbers, right? So I can write 10 as 7, that is an odd prime number, plus 3, that is an odd prime number, and therefore it satisfies our condition, and hence we get the answer. Next number is 61. Next number is 61. Okay. 61 is here. What's the previous odd prime number to 61? Okay, it's 59. 59. To make 61, we have to add 59 plus 2. 2 is only a single number, and we need 3 numbers. Again, we cannot make 2 with the sum of any 2 different odd prime numbers, like we did in the case of 10, where we wrote it as 7 plus 3. Nothing could be done in the case of 2. So ignore it. It's a bad trial. Okay, so what's then the previous odd prime number to 59? It's 53. Okay. It's 53. To make 61, if I add 8 to 53, it would become 61. Very great. Is there any way that I can write 8 as a sum of 2 odd prime numbers, so that my condition of 3 odd prime numbers gets satisfied? Because I have got 1 odd prime number and I need 2 more odd prime numbers. And if I add 8 to 53, I would get 61. And if I write 8 as 5 plus 3, hey, that's great, because 5 is an odd prime number, 3 is an odd prime number. If I add these 2 odd prime numbers, I'd get 8, and when I add 8 to 53, I'd get 61. So the way would be that 5 plus 3, and the answer would be 61. Hence, condition satisfied. So the 3 odd prime numbers would be 53, 5 and 3, because if we add these 3 odd prime numbers, we would get the result. Thank you.